at the shipyard, but when was this ship built again? Was it built, like, last year? Because this was an older vessel, I thought.
It is an older vessel. This ship is, probably... when the ship was built, it was probably built in 2380s something. So it's an older ship.
Yes, how many years ago?
The year is 2409.
Back in tech. 409. So this is a 29-year-old vessel, 30-year-old vessel.
Roughly, yeah.
These
I thought
cadets
she was
are
at the
only like...
shipyard 10 years ago.
Yes, but it is the model itself is...
But even then, the point is that these cadets are only 20-odd years old.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
So they would have been 10 when this was initiated.
Yeah.
I want to get in contact with the shipyard and see if they have any... I want basically that... I think I mentioned this the other time. I want to go through and like the full... Basically the entire Git repository of all the programming of interest, because I want to find out when this is, because I think someone's messed with it, because planning something like this 10 years in advance to try and get at these kids seems off. So either it's not actually about the kids, or someone's covered their tracks.
Okay. So just contacting Utopia Planitia Fleet Yards? Is that...
Yeah, and if they can get me that code in a decent amount of time, I'll start reviewing it, but
okay.
that will take time.
You do get in contact with a middle-aged human man. He's a little bit, he looks absolutely disheveled and perhaps caffeine deprived. Hair is an absolute chaotic mess. Apologies, Horizon, I wasn't expecting a call.
Understood. We're requesting the entire code repository from design to production for the reactor control drivers for the USS Campbell.
USS Campbell, that ship's out there with you, right? What's the reason?
Correct, but we have need for the full repository of programming edits. Failure analysis is the reason if you need one to enter.
Alright, I'll see what I can dig up. Son of a bitch, this is why we let them design ships and not onto them. I'll get back to you.
And yeah, I get it's a statement to the parents, but like, who can see 10 years into the future and know that your kid is going to be on this ship at this time? That's what I'm picking up on.
It's a lot of political maneuvering.
It is a leap, and I do agree that Hale is probably being used as a scapegoat here. But I will say that all of the families were like, these are people who went into Starfleet because their parents were in Starfleet and etc. Based on or at least that's my assumption based on the information we were given.
Pulling up the files, you could definitely see one has a pretty notable vice admiral as a parental figure. A couple have either commanders or captains of vessels or COs of stations. At least one is part of the San Francisco United Federation of Planets Embassy area.
Like, I don't necessarily believe it either, but I do think that this is the type of situation where we're probably dealing with people who are like, oh shit, we have political enemies? Good thing we got a fuck ton of ships that we, injected with poison gas or whatever. Like, I think this is. I didn't
even think about the fact they could have rigged multiples.
That's like that. Yeah, that is one of Apricity's current worries. Like, she's thinking either this is something that was planned hastily and Hale is being used as a scapegoat, or Hale really was involved and this is much larger than just this ship.
I see.
Like, those are the two sort of thought trains.
I gotcha. Regardless, Neshek still thinks it's good to verify that code was actually edited 10 years ago, because that will narrow it down to exactly that. Whether this is a conspiracy or something thrown to... Well, it's a conspiracy either way. But how big?
Alright. It takes a while. It takes the better part of maybe half an hour before the fleet yard commander gets back to you. Slightly worse in 30 minutes. Hair more disheveled, slight charring at the tips of it, and what looks to be soot or burn markings or flash stress. You're not really sure. Right, yeah, I'll send you the files. Keep in mind, the files have to transfer over a lot of light years, so it's gonna be a bit.
Understood. I simply needed to make the request.
Yeah. He kind of turns away from the screen. Seems to be acknowledging something. What is it now? No, I get that. No. I'll have to... Data's sent your way. I will, stay in contact if you need me to.
Unless there are any issues with the transfer, I see no reason to keep you. Horizon Station's signing off.
Thank you. I have to deal with the blasted nacelle of the USS Andromeda now.
No, Neshek has nothing else to do in the meantime aside again for monitor the contact tracing, unless someone else needs her to do something.
Okay. Captain Phillips, you actually, get a... like a communicative request from the computer in your ready room. Captain Phillips, you have a message from the civilian quarter.
Go and check that message.
Message is live. Shall I patch it through?
Patch it into my ready room, and I go straight into my ready room.
The holographic image of Vice President Visa is displayed before you.
Vice President, what can I do for you?
I understand there is a rivalry going on aboard the station.
What rivalry? You mean the issue that I'm having with Gamma Ops?
Yes, actually, Captain. It is about that. Horizon Station operates with multiple operation crews. I understand that you and your operations group may not like or get along with them, but to put it in as delicate and perhaps as blunt a term, both of sides need to grow up.
Permission to speak freely, Vice President?
She nods.
This whole rivalry, as you call it, happened because Gamma Ops decided to poach a person of interest in the Alpha Ops investigation. They went behind my back. They didn't even tell me that was going to be the plan because we had security on their way to medical to escort the person of interest to Alpha Ops so that way she could be questioned comfortably. When I went to Gamma Ops to get her, she looked, how could I put this? Frazzled, like like she's been through the ringer with Gamma Ops.
I
It took
respect
all
your
I had to
empathy,
compliment
Captain.
them.
I do. I respect your empathy and ability to sympathize with someone's position. However, Starfleet intelligence exists for a reason. Their methods are a little bit more direct. But they are a necessity to this station.
I understand that. But if all this going on, this biological phage, which is adapting rapidly, and everything that's going on with Gamma Ops, I just got a phone call, a hello call from my admiral, the one who assigned me to this station. She is not happy how things are going, and she is on her way here.
Is she?
Yes, and I can't stop her. I can't stop an admiral, nor
That's
I
fine.
can.
You don't have to. I look forward to speaking with her directly. Until then, Captain, and I will deliver the same message to Herman Katz as well. Both of you, play nice.
Message received.
The hollow feed cuts out.
Out of character, I was half tempted to hang up after I said Admiral Dax was coming. I was half tempted to hang up. Half tempted to hang up.
Yeah, that would not have gone well.
Nope. I was half tempted to. She was pushing my buttons again.
Would have been funny though.
Yeah, it
It's
would.
been funny for all of 4 seconds.
And I would have lost my rank and my career just that in those 4 seconds. In those 4 seconds. But yeah. What was her reaction when I mentioned Admiral Dax was coming?
Stone-faced. Absolute poker face. Couldn't read her.
Huh. But I know she's probably scared. The fact that the Admiral's coming. Want me to play nice? Okay, I'll play nice. But they're gonna have to wait. Wait their turn.
Alright, Dr. Apricity, you and Dr. Hale are looking over the data. As unfortunate as it is to lose a couple of cadets, this also gives you going backwards, you can calculate how long it's going to take for those that are not in such a terrible state to enter into this state. And
How much faster is it progressing than the records of the original Phage?
well, the original Phage is actually pretty slow. The only thing that stopped the original Phage was just why that ran rampant is just it adapted faster than technology could keep up. In this case, technology is, because it's not the far reaches of the Delta Quadrant, and technology is a little bit more advanced here, it's able to stave off effects enough to where it definitely slows the progression of it. So fatality is likely not to occur within less than 10 days. So long as, like, it's very start of symptoms. And you have people kind of all over. But you at least know it's not, like, absolutely crunching down to the wire. It's still urgent, but it's not enough to where you're suddenly having to go, like, oh, I have to come up with a miracle right fucking now.
Okay.
Dr. Hale has not spoken this entire time, though.
How close are we to the end of her shift?
She's
Her
still
original
being
scheduled shift.
Pretty close to the end of it. She is still being observed by a security team placed by the Alpha Ops and not Gamma, but it still seems to put her on edge at least a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I am. I mean, I guess I would have been watching her after she came back as she progressed through her shift, just trying to, like, get a vibe for her general
Vibe.
Yeah. Like, I'm searching for signs of guilt because Apricity wants to know if she's guilty, but also just, like, how focused does she seem on the job and what's just her general mood?
Okay, this is a reason security check. This is gonna be a difficulty of 2 as well.
Okay. You said reason security.
Yep.
Sorry, I did not have my dice out. I was not prepared. I'll go ahead and use Positronic Brain.
Okay.
Since it is a reason score. And then I rolled a 3 and a 5, neither of which are under my discipline.
Okay.
But both are successes, I imagine.
Yep. That is okay, she's definitely a bit shaken over her experience, but it's not shaken. There is a light undertone of guilt, but you can't really narrow out what that might be from. You can speculate what it might be from, but you're not going to be 100% on that. She kind of
But she's perfectly focused on her tasks.
Maybe a little too focused. Like that type of stress where you just hyper-fixate on a task just so you have something to distract yourself from. Just a situation like that. But as her time in the med bay is finally up, so she can get a break, because some people actually do need to sleep. The security officers do step forward. Sorry, Lieutenant, we have to escort you to your quarters. Yeah, I figured. Find it on my own, but thank you. It's... I know. Just... escort me to the damn quarters, so I can get some rest, and do this again. Unless you're going to do anything in Apricity, they will just leave.
No, I'll let it happen. I am not ready to venture yet.
Okay.
I'm going to... So, if I remember correctly, the race that the Phage originally infected so badly is not a member of...
Not a member of the United Federation of Planets or Starfleet,
Yeah.
no. That was the Vidians, and the Vidians just had the misfortune of, like, getting the disease and not having the technology to deal with it, and it just adapts too quickly.
Yes. I'd like to... I forget the exact terminology. Space email. Whatever Vidian scientist I can get with... Whatever Vidian scientist, basically, like, you know...
Well, you won't get in contact with any Vidian scientists, but you might get in contact with certain experts who might have been... No, it's called a transmission. But...
Thank you, transmission.
But you might be able to ask people back at Starfleet Command or around that might have had a run-in with it.
That's a shame, because I was looking for a Vidian opinion. Yeah, I'll send an email to whoever shows up in Space Google.
Space Google, okay.
And I'm basically like... I'm sorry, I'm struggling to phrase things. I am basically trying to get a gauge of their... Sorry. Give me like 30 seconds to put my words together. I want to know why a vaccine won't work. Or, like, something that isn't... From what I understand, most of what they did seemed to be just, like...
Just try and keep up with it.
Yeah, basically just trying to keep up with it. And I know that it adapts really fast. But, like, so does the flu, you know?
Okay. In your office in Horizon Medical, you actually, do get in contact with a, might be a med student, within the, Starfleet Command area. Probably Starfleet Academy is what you're guessing. Hello? Who is this?
Hi, this is Commander Apricity at Starfleet Horizon. I simply had a few questions about the Phage, and it seemed like you had a few papers about it.
No, I don't have papers about it. The doctor has papers, and well, not papers, but hollow records and data streams of it. They're currently not on planet right now, so I'm kind of just taking calls and dealing with certain things. But I could, I mean, I've read all the different star logs and stuff from his time on Voyager. Maybe I can help.
Sorry. Yes, it's fine if you don't know the answers to these. I'm basically just sort of attempting to answer a few questions that I have previously found unsatisfactory answers on. My first question involves the supposed ineligibility of any sort of vaccine or, medical solution for the phage. I was wondering if it was just something to do with the Vidian genetics or biology, or if it wouldn't work for any race.
Well, from what I understand, can see his hand go off screen, probably typing on like a computer or something, bringing up like a hollow screen. From what I can understand, I think, yeah, it looks like it has nothing to do with like a vaccine not working for them. They just never really conceived of one because it got to such a rapid pace that looks like they were just trying to keep up. The time it takes to develop such a thing, by the time they would develop it for that stage of it, it will have evolved at that point. So, there's no reason, if you could create one, why it wouldn't work. But that's if you know what type of phage you're dealing with. Like any type of disease, there's bound to be multiple strains of it. If there isn't a strain or a list of strains in the database, then, well, you have to assume that it was altered in some way.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Have there been any recorded cases of humans contracting the phage?
I haven't heard of anything, but he did run out of here like a hellion, so who knows? Sounded like it was pretty urgent. I'm not really sure. I'm sorry. If there is, I haven't heard of anything, but seeing as you're asking about it, I'm guessing something pretty terrible happened over there.
I mean, there was a pretty slip of the tongue at the beginning of the sentence. But, they will... They will ignore that question and ask their own. Is there any... Phrasing. Are there any Vidian... Are there any Voyager... I'm sorry, guys. I am really struggling over here.
You're good.
Apricity is smart, but Zaz is made of goldfish. Apricity would like to know how Voyager dealt with Phage the first time, which I imagine would be a matter of public record, so they wouldn't need to ask. But I need to ask because I haven't seen the episode associated with it.
Well, the first time Voyager encountered the Vidians with the Phage was actually, organ harvesting. So they didn't deal with it directly, but rather in an indirect fashion. But if you're looking for console of Vidian scientist or records, I could point you to a particular algorithm and program the Doctor used.
That would be very appreciated.
Well, it would... Part of it, one standard programming would comprise of holographic organs and internal pieces as a temporary stopgap. If you're looking for more in-depth research, the Doctor did write a program for medical scientists throughout history, as well as enhancement and AI structures for such things. So you could theoretically use a hologram, construct your own hologram, and input the programming. I believe there is a Vidian scientist in the database. I can send you the information for that from here. I just need your permission to do so.
And I grant it.
Thank you. And they begin, typing off to the screen. Just directly to your office computer, is that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I actually didn't really need your permission. I'm not supposed to be on this, so... It's
It's fine.
Yeah, at least... Really, I just don't want to be the only one who gets in trouble.
I think that the gravity of the circumstances outweigh you. Yeah.
Alright, well, I am... Oh, I am very late to a class. I will, good luck.
Just... At least... let the Doctor know I called, and that I may have more questions about the Phage later. Assuming that I don't see him before you do. Or hear from him.
Let him know if I see him. I think he left the Sol system, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, just an aide. I get told so much. Good luck, though.
Okay. Graphic organs. Fun.
You do receive the data, and looking at some of the patients that you have, this will work, sort of. It won't work forever, but it does buy you time.
Honestly, while preventing harm as much as possible is the ideal in any circumstance for Apricity, the bare minimum they're willing to accept at the moment is getting these kids non-contagious and stable enough to get shipped back to their parents for expensive treatment if necessary.
Okay.
So at this moment, they're mostly just trying to obviously fix the big problem and alleviate as much discomfort as possible in the meantime.
Okay. Neshek.
And they're also basically sending like a hourly like memo ping to the captain, updating him as basically updating him to who they contacted, what they did, etc.
Okay.
He is as in the loop as is possible with somebody who can send a memo with a thought.
God, daydreams must be weird. Well, it's the 25th century, so there is ability to do that. It's just finicky. For you, Neshek, Alpha Ops is, to anyone who doesn't understand this, it is an absolute, like, nightmare. It is a computer forensic nightmare. Looking through, because all these hollow screens are up, and it's just lines of code everywhere.
Is it just my organization? Say, is it just my organization that's nightmarish to understand it, or is the code itself actually incredibly disorganized?
It's, to the untrained eye, it looks disorganized, is all I'm saying. For you, it's fine.
Okay.
But it is looking at strings of code. Yes, that, but worse, and in many different colors. But eventually, Neshek, you do find that one piece of code that you saw initially, and you search through, and keep searching through, and find this code was indeed installed when it said it was. But most notably, it isn't just the Campbell that was targeted. There were multiple ships targeted. Particularly ships that were going to be geared towards supply, humanitarian, and second contact missions. So any workhorse ship is pretty much under threat. So the Giorgio, the Cali class, the Miranda, any of those type of classes of ships that are typically just workhorse ships have this line of code in them. And that equates to being 319 ships in total.
Okay. I would know this because I'm the communications officer. I assume, has this, like, made the news, or is it still within Starfleet only?
This is... Only the people you've contacted are going to be directly aware of this, because it hasn't even really been a day yet. It hasn't been 24 hours.
Okay. Are any of the other ships currently at Horizon Station on this list? Or in the vicinity?
No. It seems like the USS Campbell is the only one that is, of this list that is active in Horizon Station. Everywhere else, they are either stationed in the far reaches of the Beta Quadrant or closer to home in the Alpha Quadrant.
To talk to the captain, and then I'm going to need to ask the captain to talk to the admiral.
Okay, well, the captain's in his ready room, so he's not hard to locate.
I mean, I'm the communications officer, I can always find him.
Well, that's a terrifying way to put that, but okay.
Captain. Permission to speak and enter the ready room.
Enter.
I may request activating the privacy screens. This is potentially highly sensitive information.
I activate their privacy screens.
Alright, the glass kind of goes opaque, the room dims a bit, that blue ring of light, and then this dull humming noise.
Captain, I've discovered evidence of the same sabotage on the USS Kemble and 319 other Starfleet vessels.
Dear God, 319?
Correct. None of them are in the vicinity of Horizon. They are distributed throughout space, and a concerning number are in Alpha Quadrant, near the Sol system.
Oh boy.
I cannot confirm whether or not they are all carrying phage. I have no evidence to suggest this, but even still, even if they do not all have active phage on them, potential to shut down them uncontrollably in the same way as the Campbell was is a large enough security vulnerability.
Yeah. First Vice President calls, and basically, I'm going off kilter on this one. Basically, bitches me out, she like I'm a little kid, and now this. Oh boy.
I've not yet contacted any of the vessels, Captain.
What's not yet? Because
Nor have I notified the shipyard.
Yeah, let's not stir up any mass hysteria and paranoia. We'll save this info for when the Admiral arrives. And I don't know how long that's going to be. Player to GM, how long was that going to take for Admiral Dex to arrive?
Actually, you were expecting her to show up quite a bit later, within like the next 12 hours. However, you do actually get a communique from the primary Alpha Op station. Just a notification chime, because you are in privacy mode, so that's all they can do. They can't speak in.
So hold that thought, Neshek.
Well, Captain, before we deactivate the privacy screens, my understanding is currently the information about our situation is largely contained to Horizon Station.
Good. Let's keep it that way for now.
If word of this gets out, I am concerned that whatever actor initiated this sabotage might activate this line of code in all 319 other vessels. I suggest extreme caution in who we share this with.
Right. I'm a person who really knows outside of primary Alpha Ops about what we talked about up to now is the Admiral. Admiral Dex, the only one who knows. And that's as far as I'm taking it. I ain't taking it no farther until I'm told otherwise by her.
Understood, Captain. Awaiting your orders. And then I will leave.
And at that point, I activate the privacy screen so the person can walk in.
It's just one of the specialists who works in the primary op station, and he kind of runs in. Captain?
Yes?
Picking up on scans, we were initially alarmed by it, but seeing as it's coming from Sol, it's a little less alarming, but it did give us quite the scare for a moment. There is a transport conduit opening. It looks signature read, and the registry, it looks like it is the Aventine. It looks like she burned her transport coil to get here instead.
Shit! She's here now. Lovely. That's just what I need. Yay. Well, let me go say hi to the Admiral. Well, okay. So I will walk out. I make myself as calm as possible. and I hail the Alpha Team. Rise to station to USS Alpha Team.
Captain Phillips, I have the distinct pleasure of letting you know that the Admiral has already transported aboard.
Yeah, and I heard you guys burned your transfer coil.
We still have her slip steering hub, but we're fine. She was adamant that this was of the utmost urgency.
Whoa, she's not wrong.
I should
That's all
hope so.
I'm
She
all I
kept
can
me in the
say.
dark the whole trip.
Yeah. Where did she transport to exactly on the station?
Well, if we time it out right, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, the door's open.
And and as soon as I heard the doors, I turn my head and I say, "Admiral on the bridge." In the calmest, most tone up, I say, "Admiral on deck." And everybody should be standing. Everybody will probably stand up at this point and salute the
Oh,
Admiral,
yeah.
including me.
How was that, Admiral? Well timed? Your timing is terrifying. Well, Captain? I think
Admiral.
it's only fair you give me a sit rep from this point forward.
Oh, yes. Shall we go into my ready room?
Yeah, why don't we do that? I had a lovely chat. On my way here with the civilian quarter, and I understand that I have to talk to the Vice President as well.
Yeah. Because I will explain that whole situation in my ready room. And Neshek, I need you to come with me so you can explain what you found out to the Admiral as well.
Okay, I'm right behind you.
So all three of us walk into the ready room, and I reactivate the privacy screen again.
Alright.
Captain, would we want Apricity here as well to convey any new medical details?
Yes. I tap my comm badge. Phillips to Apricity?
Apricity at the hospital.
Apricity, are you available at this moment? Or are you still on shift?
Am I still on shift?
That depends. I mean, even you need to take a break here and there. That's up to you.
I could swing by, yes.
I need you in my ready room.
Okay.
Alright. We're not gonna focus on that travel time going up turbolifts and stuff quite yet. You eventually do arrive in the ready room. So there is Captain Phillips, Lieutenant Commander Neshek, Apricity, and Admiral Dax all within this space.
Yep, and
I was not told that the Admiral was going to be here, so I do an almost remarkable mood change, should I?
I mean, you got the Admiral showing up out of nowhere. Yeah, I think everybody has a mood change at this point.
Aleska doesn't even know the Admiral's on the station.
Oh, yeah.
Neither did I. Now I'm in a room with her.
Let's go, but West doesn't know either.
I don't know anything.
This is true. He doesn't know, but anyway. Alright, Apricity, Neshek, Amber wants a sit rep. What you got from me, Apricity?
We've had no major breakthroughs in the Phage recently. We managed to keep most of the cadets stable. We have or I have attempted to make contact with the members of the Voyager who originally encountered the Phage and a Vidian scientist that was recommended to me. But progress is currently stalled for the day, at least.
Well, it can't be all bad.
True, I have Hale back.
So, from what my XO told, from what we gathered so far, it felt like next week revealed this new interesting development.
Well, then please do inform me.
All these cadets that were targeted had parents of high standing in Starfleet.
So it's not really targeting the cadets, then it's potentially politically motivated?
I have this feeling that's what I'm thinking is probably politically motivated. But we do have an interesting new development that just came across my table before you arrived. And I nod to Neshek to reveal that information.
General, we've identified the primary source of the sabotage. It is a code injection in the reactor control mechanism that triggers an overload and explosion. Tracing this back to the original shipyard development, we found this code was inserted approximately 10 years ago, and more to the point, it is present in 319 Starfleet vessels. Largely Second Contact and other workhorse type ships.
Ships that are perfect for young officers and cadets.
We're not certain if the modified phage is present in all these vessels, nor have we contacted them. We were waiting for your guidance.
I think it's wise that you didn't contact them. No need to stir up a mass hysteria just yet.
Yeah, that was my train of thought. I said, let's just wait and see what the Admiral says about this information.
However, if we're to disable every single bit of this to reduce the amount of casualties as much as possible, we are going to have to find a way to communicate, execute, and disable that line of code almost simultaneously. With 320 ships, that's difficult. Hell, that's difficult with 6.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was like a huge quarter, like a small quarter of our ships right there, Admiral.
And I know how many cadets are serving on ships like that.
We're talking about a lot of casualties here.
If something like this were to happen, and might still happen if we don't stop it, we're looking at 43,000 casualties. That will hurt Starfleet immensely.
So I have this line of thought thinking it could be politically motivated, or maybe it's directed at Starfleet itself to deliver a message or a point. Don't know what that point is.
Well, if they wanted to deliver a message, they had to grab her ear. They have her ear. So.
Mm-hmm.
Curious, if the saboteurs intended to damage Starfleet as a whole, why not simply activate the line of code in all 319 vessels simultaneously? As you said, that would have caused significantly more damage.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about too.
My question is, are they all equipped with the phage, and if so, are they all the same strain?
We could potentially investigate that a bit more surreptitiously before we attempt to modify the code. The Campbell was able to secure the phage secretly in compartments behind the med bay. we could potentially have crew members on these ships check the areas around the reactor that would be ruptured by the explosion. They might be able to detect the phage canisters before they are released. However, this again presents a loss of information control.
Additionally, that's
Were the crew
assuming
members but to
that's-
locate and identify them independently, we would no longer be in
assuming
control of their
it's
actions.
the phage. It could be something else too, entirely.
This is also correct. Additionally, while it might be possible to push out a software update via the shipyard's normal updating system, I am concerned that our saboteurs are monitoring or otherwise modifying the code being output by the shipyard. I would not be able to determine as such without a full review of their systems, which is not possible from here. Or we would need to set up an alternate server from which to push our corrected update.
Yeah.
However, this...
How to do that?
I can do that utilizing the Horizon. The problem lies again in information control. If we do not wish to notify the vessel what we are doing, then it would be tantamount to receiving a cyber attack on 319 vessels simultaneously. It would cause its own form of panic.
Kobayashi Maru. That's what this is.
You mean the test that every cadet went through? It could be that is that test? Oh boy.
I'm merely using it as a metaphor. If we do nothing, whoever instigated this still has their hand on the trigger potentially. And whether or not they do, that fear will always linger in the back of our minds. However, if we initiate and try to, as you said, update a string of code using Horizon Station via 320 different ships, but keeping the communication gap small, that keeps all those ships out of the loop. That looks like an attack. That's panic in itself.
I'm considering alternate strategies, but at the moment the situation requires more information.
Yeah. Keep working at it. I have to speak to the Vice President.
Good luck. Good luck. She's very stone-faced. Because I spoke with her before you arrived.
Where's your XO?
Good question. Computer, okay. Commander Aleska?
Where is Commander Aleska at this time?
She would be in her office still working through the red tape, trying to help.
Okay. Lieutenant
Notice
Commander
Phage,
Aleska is in her office. I can find my way down, Captain. You have your hands tied. I'll see if they're willing to accompany me.
And when the Admiral comes through, I'd probably have a deer in the headlights kind of look.
Commander?
Admiral. To what gives you the pleasure of your company?
I don't think there's anything pleasurable about my situation being here, but I was on my way to the civilian deck and figured you would enjoy accompanying me as I try to figure out what's going on with the Vice President's presence here.
I admit I am curious as to that score as well. And I shall accompany you.
Okay. As you are headed off to there, Corporal West, is there any place that you're going or at right now?
No, it would just basically be if I'm not on my off time, I would just be making my rounds, whatever sort of patrols that would have been assigned to me on the station.
Okay. Interestingly enough, that does put you, patrolling past, Dr. Hale's quarters. With a pair of crewmen in the gold uniforms, standing outside the door.
What has their disposition been towards me since I've arrived on the station? Because it's been, what, a month and a half now?
Yeah. Well, initially it was a little reserved. They're relaxed enough around you. You don't seem to cause them any issues. If anything, you make yourself as, not as noticeable a problem whatsoever, so they just acknowledge you when you're walking past and maybe even make some conversation here and there.
Seeing them, a thought occurs to me. And I immediately go to an engineering area
Alright.
for fabrication.
Alright.
And I'm going to ask whoever is there to assist me with a particular device that was given to me, yet never returned.
Okay.
That little clicker thing
The
that they gave me.
the micro tricorder.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to take it apart and see if it is only programmed to give me a specific response. I'm basically checking to see if she got set up.
Alright. Yeah, you can find someone in engineering. Interestingly enough, it would be... the currently disguised as Bajoran and holding the rank of Chief Warrant Officer, Kadria Lee, who, if you will recall, is actually Undyne. Corporal West.
Was I actually there for that one, though? There's a lot that West doesn't know.
Yeah, you were there for that part.
Okay.
It's one of those
Lance.
ones where it's been in one of those situations where you probably avoid them as best you can because it's like that trust thing.
Oh, no, I probably normally don't even have the clearance to approach them, so... But yes, it's Lance Corporal, ma'am. Looking around and only seeing them. Perhaps you could assist me with something, ma'am. If I might be so bold.
Sure, why not? I'm bored as shit.
And I take out the miniature tricorder. I need to see if this is programmed to only give a specific response when it is activated. However, while I am good in engineering, I'm much better at blowing things up than I am actual programming.
Okay, yeah, I can help with that. Not gonna lie, I'm more of a bioscientist, but I think I can help.
Perhaps there is someone else that we could call that does have a history and expertise in this.
One second. Well, I don't know what your feelings are towards the intelligence community, but there is a,
As long as it is not from Gamma Ops.
They are from Gamma Ops, but they are a coding expert.
This device is directly from Gamma Ops. They cannot be involved.
Ah, I see. Oh, going behind the back and breaking shit. I like this. I know just the person. They're a little bit... You'll understand when you meet them. But I do have someone. If you'll follow me.
Of course, ma'am.
You don't mind going to deck 500, do you?
I will go wherever we are needed.
Perfect. And you, you're gonna do a site-to-site transport, because a turbo lift through those many decks just sounds awful. For entering into this larger, like, cargo and, under, ventral, like, armory station. Chief Nen, are you here? You can hear like a slight banging before there's just a tirade of different species curses before coming around, like rubbing their shoulder. They are they're rather, androgynous looking trill with, short length hair and, like, a kind of single braid that curls almost around, sort of like a crown, but kind of stare at you a little bit. No one comes down here, so... Oh, you brought a guest. Why'd you bring a guest? And I didn't think you had friends. I don't, not yet. I don't think I do. I don't know how this works. Okay, well that's comforting. How can I help you?
I need a coding expert, and I hold up the miniature tricorder. I just need to see if this is coded to give specific responses.
Holy shit, that thing is so small. I didn't even know they made tricorders this small.
It's from Gamma Ops.
Oh great, Gamma Ops. That's right, they're here. Yay! So you're just looking for specific code readouts? Is that what I understand?
Yes, essentially this was to be used against, well, plausible deniability. The less specifics you know, the better. Let's just say it was intended to be used against someone and give a specific response, but I need to know if there is any other option for it to give. I need to know if this individual has been set up, essentially.
Okay. Exciting. Counter-espionage, I like this. You don't mind me taking a look at that then, do you?
I approach and hand it over. I do not tell either of them that I still have that collapsible phase pistol on me.
That's fine.
Which at some point I will need the stats for.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They kind of delicately open it, attach a few devices, and then just have a secondary tricorder to put the reads into it. Do you know what the more specific function of this tricorder is? That would help me narrow it out.
I explain without getting into too many specifics, so that way they can still claim plausible deniability.
Medical, scientific, engineering. Where does this tricorder fall in that umbrella?
Medical.
Medical, okay. Well, that is a absolute lie, because this is... it looks like an engineering tricorder. It looks like it's supposed to read or attach itself to... it's supposed to attach itself to specific comm badges that are either pre-programmed within Starfleet record or ones that have been accessed by this tricorder before.
Interesting. So once it reads it, it gives an acknowledgement in the results of what it was expected to read.
Yes.
You do realize that you may have to be called in and give your testimony, should it come to it.
You know, the last testimony I had to be at, my previous host got shot. So, you know, maybe we'll go for 2 for 2.
Let's hope not. We're a long way from Trill. And with that, I will walk off, and the minute I'm in the elevator and the doors close, I'm calling the captain.
Okay. Captain Phillips, you and Neshek have been going over this code and, like, are think tanking, bringing, like, certain people from different...
Sorry. Who is my immediate supervisor? Because I can't jump the chain of command.
It would technically be Aleska when it comes to security and just generally the chain of command. Because you are attached to Alpha Ops, it would be Aleska, as they are attached to Alpha Ops and therefore are in charge of security and armaments.
That is who I will place the call to.
Okay. Well, there are things happening while you were doing that, so I'll let you know when this call comes through.
Yep.
The room in which you enter, Lieutenant Commander Aleska, is impressive, presidential feeling, where Vice President Riza is currently going over data pads before noticing the Admiral and yourself.
I would say, like, just a half step behind the Admiral, almost like a bodyguard kind of situation. And although the surroundings might be impressive, Aleska has just blank face, but her eyes are watching everything.
President Visa? I understand you are aboard this station. Well, then your eyes work wonderfully. What can I do for you, Admiral? Well, for starters, I would like to know why you're on Horizon Station without notifying anyone. I notified people. I notified the President. I notified those that needed to know. This is a station that I am in charge of. I should be informed. Should I not? As I said, Admiral, this was on a need-to-know basis. Now, you might not like how this sounds, or how I'm going about things. But this is the reality of it. Permission to speak freely? Ma'am? I know your record. You're gonna speak whether I tell you it's okay or not. Go for it. And President Visa, you have been interfering in both sides and are playing ref to a Starfleet operation. A particular situation that is complicating our current issues. Those current issues being a medical emergency. I will not deny that there is a medical emergency. Then you understand the dangers of putting that animosity on Dr. Hale. I do not believe that would have become relevant, as Dr. Apricity is more than capable and has a capable staff. Losing one doctor for routine questioning, which they got interrupted and pulled out of, would not have affected things too greatly. And with all due respect, you don't know that. You're right. I'm not Starfleet. I'm part of the United Federation of Planets, so you will forgive me, Admiral, if my purview is a bigger picture. Now, if there's nothing else, Admiral, you've made your point.
Can Aleska do an insight check on the Vice President?
Yes, you can do a... This is Insight Security. This is 100% Insight Security. This is going to be a difficulty of 3.
Can I buy an extra die for...
You do have that point of momentum.
And...
Go for it.
I don't have anything that can help with this, I don't think.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, so straight 14, and I'm rolling 3 dice. I got a 6, a 10, and an 11. So 3 successes.
3 successes on the nose. Okay, perfect. Vice President is... 1. She knows she's partially wrong in what she's doing. But she's also not oblivious or unsympathetic to the situation at hand. It is simply she's not allowing herself to fold under pressure from one group.
Did she react at all to Aleska being there?
There was a light double take. Very light, but not so much that you're not entirely sure what that was. It's probably more of a surprise that you're just there.
If the Admiral is leaving, then at some point during, like, maybe a turbo lift scene, Aleska will give her analysis of the Vice President to the Admiral.
Okay. The Vice President does... Just because there were some light verbal attacks made at her, there is, like, a light glare, but other than that, there doesn't seem to be any harsh follow-up. As you enter into the turbo lift and are going upwards, you do get a communique from Lance Corporal West, so whatever that may be, this is when the message is going to come through.
Notasky here. Go ahead, Corporal.
It's Lance Corporal, ma'am. This is going to be a running joke, and I love it. I have some information that I need to deliver to you, preferably in person. Is there a place that we could meet without prying ears?
And I look at the Admiral. This might be pertinent to our situation. Meet in my office, Lance Corporal.
Are you sure that there are no ears in there, ma'am?
I can activate the privacy shield, and the Admiral will be with us.
Actually, I think I'm going to take a walk at the station.
Understood, Admiral. Then it will be just... Go ahead, Admiral.
I have a feeling what you're talking about is going to be ever so terribly boring. I wouldn't want to be involved.
Understood. Then it will be just me, Lance Corporal.
Understood. I shall meet you there. Barring any incidents. And I off my comm badge.
Okay. What a strange occurrence for those in Horizon Station, because you're talking and going through, like, obviously there's not a lot of people where you are, but going through, like, obviously they can't hear because there's such dinner noise, but they can hear you talk and they're not hearing any output noise because it's all going in.
That's why I was... Part of it was also why I was doing the communication while I was in the turbo lift.
Mm-hmm.
Less amount of people to have ears on me.
Yep. But you do make it to Aleska's office, which is located 2 decks below Alpha Ops.
And as the West comes in, I will hold up one finger to stave off any questions and activate the privacy shield.
Okay.
I'm guessing I probably had a data pad. Everybody just seems to always have a data pad on hand.
Oh, yeah.
In Star Trek.
Yeah.
I was probably working on a full report on my way up there, because, you know, being on the 500th deck going all the way to the top, I've got some free time. But yeah, Cliff Notes version of everything that I discovered and handing it over.
Well, it seems that the Doctor turned out to be a scapegoat after all. The Admiral and the Captain are not going to be too pleased by these shenanigans by Gamma Ops.
As a note, I am also standing at attention, and included in the report is them having Gamma Ops approaching me for the job.
Yep.
And them telling me to not say anything.
I think this part of the report, Lance Corporal, and you can stand down from attention, I will only show to the Admiral and the Captain. It does not need to be part of public record.
It wouldn't be the first time that I've been punished for something stupid, ma'am.
And probably not the last.
Of course not, ma'am.
And don't worry, I've done my fair share of stupid things in my time. And she will dismiss the West and then head to the Captain.
Captain, this is like probably the 8th time you've got like a notification at your ready room.
Also still getting those hourly urgent emails.
Yeah, and I would say, who is it?
Aleska, sir, I have some more information to deliver you, perhaps potentially sensitive information.
House, enter.
And she will enter, still doing that thing where she's walking, but accessing the data pad as she's walking. And then hands the data pad to the Captain.
I read it, and my eyes go wide, and I immediately tap my comm badge. Phillips to Admiral Dax.
Admiral Dax here?
Admiral Dax, I don't want to give you this order because you're higher rank than me, but I need you in my ready room immediately.
I'll allow it. Doesn't take him too long to get there.
And as soon as the Admiral enters, I activate the privacy screens again. I think whether it's the 3rd time today, and I slide the data pad over to them to read it. What's your play, Admiral? Because I am not happy about this.
Neither am I.
Someone set up the doctor, and Gamma Ops is making a power play right now.
I think they're connected here.
It feels to me like they are playing games.
A game I'm not too fond of.
I agree.
Captain Phillips, as of this moment, you have my permission to apprehend, withhold, and detain any member of Gamma Ops short of lethality. The order stands immediately.
Yes, ma'am. I turn to Aleska and just nod.
And I will exit the ready room because comm badges don't work in here with the privacy screen up. Mm-hmm. And she will go, Aleska to Alpha Ops security team, report to the conference lounge.
Understood.
And I turn to the Admiral and say, would you like to be part of this arrest, Admiral? Or would you like to sit by and watch?
I'll run things from ops.
Understood. My chair is yours. So I get up and I leave, after deactivating the privacy screen, so that way only the Admiral can sit in my chair and run things from the radio room. I make my way to the conference room with Aleska.
Okay. Well then. Commander Aleska and Lance Corporal West. How are you proceeding about this?
So, I know in Star Trek they have, like, security protocols and command codes and that sort of thing. Would there be a way that I can use, as being a member of Alpha Ops, use my command codes to lock down Gamma Ops if I know that most of Gamma Ops is at the station for their ship?
You can lock down the exterior portions of Gamma Ops, because it is an intelligence-based operations area. Its accessibility is a little bit different. You can't lock it down, however, you can lock out and lock down decks and areas adjacent.
Aleska will wait until her security forces arrive and brief them on what we're about to do. I'm sure they have some concerned faces on them.
Yeah. One of the security officers, probably just made it out of Starfleet Academy, wears the very shiny new, like, silver ensign pip. Ma'am, I understand the gravity of this situation, but to any outsiders that may happen upon this, even with security clearance, if this breaks out into a firefight, it's gonna look like a civil war on the station.
Indeed, and that is why I am going to have a conversation with Gamma Ops Captain and hope that we have an amicable surrender. But I want all of you to have your weapons on stun to their maximum setting.
Yes, ma'am.
And at this moment, since we're probably all in the conference room, the captain walks in.
Okay.
So, I'm sure the commander has briefed you. Stun only. Highest stun setting possible. And I will be coming along on this arrest.
Are you sure that's wise, Captain? Not to question your authority, I just don't... The commanding officer going into a situation like this,
Oh no, I'm not. I'm just going in to say y'all under arrest and let you guys take over.
I'm afraid, Captain, that the ensign is quite correct, and Starfleet regs would require you to stay in ops at this particular moment.
Yeah, you're right. Even though the Admiral is running the takedown from my ready room right now.
Just because of worst case scenario, Captain, we would not like to lose you.
Fair enough. I mean,
considering the experience of Gamma Ops, they probably have more than one trick up their sleeves.
That's what I figured. I wish there was a way we could watch the arrest from Alpha Ops.
We do have stuff for that. A couple of them have phaser rifles, and it does look like they have, like, what originally looked like lights and look kind of look sort of like glasses are overreads and layouts, and they're actually to record the whole event. So there's actual like digital proof of everything here.
Okay, me and the Admiral will run it from my ready room. I want you to go in there, take them down, and be careful. Like the commander says, they might have more than one trick up their sleeve. They have no idea we're coming. So we have that to our advantage right now.
Yes.
And Aleska will go, computer, how many individuals are in Gamma Ops at the moment?
There's a brief pause before there is a response. There are 28 members currently in Gamma Ops.
Aleska will go to our communications/science officer. I want to do a site-to-site transport to the entrance of the Gamma Ops. Give them as little time to react as possible.
Alright, Neshek
West.
can accomplish that almost without trouble. Where you are. But what were you gonna say, West?
West, Lance Corporal West does raise his hand.
Go ahead, Wes.
Does Starfleet have body armor or anything to help shield us from returning favors or fire?
I think I saw something like that in the first season, but after that, they never used it ever again.
If it's the first time, I think it's about time we use it. Now I'd have all you guys come back in one piece.
Well, there is stuff like that. I think primarily one of the reasons they, I mean, at certain times it was just because they were spread thin and could only make so much. But you do have like, it won't absorb all of it, but it'll absorb probably a hit or two if it comes down to it.
Well, those might matter between life and death here. So, yeah, we can use. Yeah, you guys can use that. I'll just run it from. Yeah, just be careful.
And we will get decked out in the armor and everything.
Alright.
Make sure one of you guys tie the cameras into my ready room so me and Admiral can watch this all go down.
Understood, Captain.
We already have Captain.
Well, good luck and Godspeed. And I'll turn and walk to my ready room.
Alright. The moment you exit, you can hear the distinctive transporter sound as a site-to-site transport occurs. It is Aleska, Lance Corporal West, and it is, in fact, 8 other security officers. So, not a small security team. It is, in fact, a pretty large one. Where you just beam there, and Herman Kotz is actually there, just turning the corner before seeing all of you. What the hell is this?
I would leave the area immediately. And Aleska's face is like, she's not furious, but it's like,
she's getting there.
And it's like, stay out of my way, don't ask questions.
I'm the commanding officer of Gamma Ops. I need to know what's happening here.
And then I hand him the data pad with his arrest warrant from Admiral Dax.
What did we do?
And I will need to explain that to you in your ready room, Captain.
Fine. Ready room. Sure.
And does he sit down at his desk, or is he standing up?
Well, seeing as he's not gonna put himself into a vulnerable position, so he's definitely standing up.
And would I have the mini tricorder?
Yeah.
I fling the tricorder on his desk. Explain that, young man.
It's a micro tricorder. It's a micro engineering tricorder.
Yes, programmed to only emit a certain signal when interacting with a comm badge. A certain doctor's comm badge.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about Dr. Hale?
For someone with intelligence, you seem remarkably dumb today.
I understand that we had to interrogate and investigate a potential Telshire operative. That is no secret.
Yes, but that secret seems to have been fed with false lies if that device was the part of why she was targeted.
Why would she be targeted?
I don't know. I'm not
investigation.
And who provided the tricorder?
We have dozens of them. We use them for field ops. If we don't use them, if we don't have a field op, we don't use them hardly ever. They're mainly used to keep track of each other.
Really now? According to Lance Corporal West, he was told to keep his part of this secret.
By whom?
The Major. And where is the Major now, Captain? And there's
I tap my comm badge and find out, do you?
Go ahead.
Major Ron, report to my ready room. Major?
Computer, locate Major Ron.
Major Ron is not in Horizon Station database.
And then I give a very incredulous look at the captain.
Really, I'm just as confused as you right now.
And since we're alone, Captain, for one brief moment I will allow you to activate your privacy shield. Because what I'm about to ask, some members of Starfleet do not know.
Fine. You can relax that firearm. I'm not gonna do anything.
I do not relax, said Phaser.
Lance Corporal West, please leave the ready room for a brief moment.
At that, I will holster the phaser, arch an eyebrow. Of course, I shall be just outside. And step out.
The moment you step out, the privacy filters go up.
Captain, since you are an intelligence, then this will probably be no secret to you. Is it possible that the Major was Section 31?
It's entirely possible, but any one of us could potentially be Section 31. You realize what a witch hunt is, right?
Yes, which is what we initially thought was happening with Dr. Hale. But it might have been part of 31's plan to ensure chaos on Horizon Station, which they apparently succeeded.
I understand what Section 31 is. I understand they do pretty undesirable things when it comes to Starfleet. But at the end of it, at the fundamental level, they are still a piece of Starfleet intelligence. We don't like to talk about them, but they are a piece of Starfleet intelligence, which means, at the bare minimum,
well, unfortunately, at times, Section 31 has acted of its own accord.
What does Section 31 gain from framing Dr. Hale?
I do not know, but I know that some members of Section 31 might think that we are getting too cozy with the Romulans after the war.
The war was well over 20 years ago now.
Intelligence has long memories, and Section 31 will probably have longer memories still.
This is my command nightmare.
Well, unfortunately, I am to bring you to Admiral Dax. And I would prefer to do this without a firefight on the station between Gamma and Alpha Ops.
I would prefer that as well.
So if you would follow me and order your Ops crew members to briefly be in the brig, Captain.
Yeah.
And she will gesture to the door.
We'll deactivate privacy and exit. Making sure, he does this actually intentionally. He makes sure that he is in front of you when he exits.
And she will nod to West to fall in beside her as they escort the captain to Alpha Ops, while my security team leads the Gamma Ops crew to the brig.
Right.
I immediately close into a protective position.
Alright, because of where you have to go, you'll have different routes to go. However, there is going to be an area. It's not like largely a public space, but you are going to have to pass through it to some degree. Even if you want to do a site-to-site transport, because this area is locked down adjacent.
Mm-hmm. And I would mention to the captain to make it look like we are just going to the bridge of Alpha Ops, so we will holster our weapons when we're in that public space.
Okay. Lance Corporal West, though. You can do a Insight Security difficulty 2, and I will, in fact, because I haven't done it yet this session, I will be spending 5 points of threat total.
Oh boy.
Fantastic. I am not very good at this roll, so... And we have no momentum for me.
Notionally, you can take additional threat. Unless that was all the threat.
Dude.
You can do
And
that.
I also do not have bold security. Which I debated.
No, I have collaboration and cautious, so I can't really help you. I do have advisor, but I don't think that helps in this situation.
No, it doesn't.
No. So that's 2 10s.
2 10.
I'm actually kind of surprised because I need an 11.
All right. You were able to see it, West, just ever so slightly when you're walking through this slightly public space. It's almost like a slight piece of the background doesn't look quite right. There's almost like off in the distance, you can kind of see the background that just doesn't look right. It looks slightly... It kind of looks like heat waves in the background. But you don't know what that is. You have no idea what that particular, like, heat wave effect is. But you do know pretty distinctively what a slight glint on glass looks like.
Oh boy.
So you are able to spot that. I'm gonna give you about 4 seconds to think.
I immediately aim and fire.
Okay. That is going to be... aim, fire...
Control security, I believe?
Yeah, control security. Given the distance here, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a difficulty of 2.
Okay. And I've never done combat before. Do I get a minor action, was it?
Yeah.
As well? To aim, and what does that do?
It'll reduce the difficulty by 1.
Okay. So, yeah. That minor action to aim before I actually fire, then.
Okay.
Ooh. That is 2 5s.
2 5s.
With a focus and hand phasers, which means that is 2 critical successes.
Alright.
So, 4 total, which means we also get 3 momentum.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Alright. I gotta do a roll for them actually now. Okay. You fire, and they fire in turn almost instantaneously. The exchange of fire happens. You firing first, and almost immediately after, a secondary fire happening. One of the security officers, the one that was talking to Captain Phillips, does get hit, and the burn marks that are on them, that is no phaser. That's a Polaron rifle.
Fuck!
And West, you fire, and it definitely looks like it hurt, but whatever sort of like cloaking device they're wearing seems like it at least mitigated the damage to some degree. It looks like the way they kind of recoil a little bit looks like it did enough to where, yeah, that's gonna hurt and leave a mark.
Does Aleska get a reaction at all?
You'll get one reaction here.
And she has her phaser on her as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can I target what the Lance Corporal targeted?
Yes. This individual is making a tactical retreat at this point, so...
Oh, actually, can I walk that back? Can I take my knife from my back belt and do a overhand throw to target like a leg or, well, basically anything I can get?
Yes, but given the distance, the difficulty will increase.
Oh, then I'll just use the phaser, because that gives me longer range.
Okay.
Stun is still stun.
Yes, stun is still stun. So this is going to be a control security, and it is given that what's happened now, it's going to be a difficulty of 3.
Then
You have the momentum as well, 3.
Yes, I will buy a die, and I also have a focus in hand faces.
Alright.
A 4, a 6, and a 7.
4, 6, 7. Okay.
So, are we full up on momentum then?
Yeah.
And so how do I roll damage? I mean, it's done.
You're not gonna roll damage here because it's not gonna be any sort of like lethal effect here, just because I think it'll just happen.
Yeah.
I think damage is more applicable for a long drawn out thing, or if you're actually looking for like a lethal response. They just crumple into a heap off in that corner.
And I will motion to 2 of the security guards to grab them, whoever crumpled, and we'll take... And if we're in a position where we can get a site-to-site transport to the ops, then that's what we'll do. Because Aleska is now in, we need to get the captain directly to ops and as few steps as possible mode.
Okay, the security officers go to grab the individual and their hands pass right through them.
Oh boy.
Commander?
And then, what was the Gamma Ops captain's name?
Herman Kotz.
Captain Kotz, have you ever encountered something like this before?
No, this looks like a hologram with safety turned off to some degree, but...
But there are no hollow emitters in this area of the station.
I know, I'm not entirely sure we should...
Is it still cloaked?
No.
Aleska will frisk the body and see if she can't locate like a mobile emitter.
There is a mobile emitter. It's about the size of a bracelet.
And she will try and fiddle with it to where it will deactivate but store the hologram in the emitter.
Does so. The ensign that got shot is finally like sitting up though in a world of pain.
Let's Notasky to Apricity. Dr. Apricity, I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was over the comms.
Yes.
Apricity here.
We have a man injured. Stand by for injured. And Aleska will coordinate with Alpha Ops and have the crew member beam directly to the hospital.
Okay.
It is still on lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then just outside the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, there is that too. I did forget the hospital itself was on lockdown.
Yeah, the hospital's currently in quarantine. I'm not sure if he's injured enough that he wants to be in here.
But
well, we have more than one.
Sorry.
We'll have more than one sick bay.
Well, I mean, Horizon Medical spans an entire wing deck, so it's only a portion that's been like quarantined off. Granted, it's a large portion of it, but
that is fair.
But she can be directed to a spot that is.
We sort of lock down around Gamma Ops, so they'll have to trek a little bit, pun intended.
I'm fine, Commander. I can make it there.
As soon as you're able to use the transporter, and she will give a very, like, mother's stare. Like, I better not hear that you walked all the way to the hospital.
I feel like you got that skill from someone, but, yeah, I can do that.
And then she will order the rest of her security ops to form around her and the captain, and we will head to Alpha Ops.
Okay.
And she will mention to both West and the captain, I wonder who they were targeting.
I was not going to wait to find out, ma'am.
Probably a good idea that you didn't. Were they perhaps targeting you, Captain?
You know, I've made a lot of people mad over my career, so there's always that chance.
I have made enemies myself.
The bigger question being still is, where is the Major?
Is your ship still around the station?
The ship is currently in a docking port.
When was the last time you checked on your ship?
Better part of an hour ago now.
An hour ago, you still believed the Major was on the station.
That's true.
I think we better check on your ship once we reach Alpha Ops.
Yeah. Alright, you were able to deliver to each and finally report to Alpha Ops as Admiral Dax is there. That is by far the most civilized arrest I've seen, minus the event en route back.
Indeed, and I will lay because Alpha Ops has kind of like DS9's Ops station.
Yeah,
so
it's a little bit. It's actually significantly larger, and instead of a view screen, it's a hollow viewer. But yeah,
she will place it on our big Ops table. It was a hologram with a mobile emitter.
Curiouser and curiouser.
seems like a distraction.
Well, they did try to fire on us. One of my ensigns was injured. They're in the hospital right now. And apparently Major Rowan has absconded from the station. And if I could make a suggestion, Captain, Admiral, we check to see if the Gamma Ops ship is still in the docking bay.
Lieutenant
Of
Commander
course.
Neshek?
Reporting.
Check and see if the Ares is still within the vicinity of Horizon Station.
Is the Ares still in the vicinity of Horizon Station?
It is not in any of Horizon Station's docking bays or docking ports.
Do I have a record of it requesting permission to leave?
Yep. It left, given permission by just a flight deck area just a little over an hour ago.
I'm reading that the flight deck cleared it for exit from Horizon Station just over an hour ago.
And I give the Gamma Ops captain an arched eyebrow.
I swear to you, I did the check. I didn't realize that there was anything added on to... Listen, no matter what I say, it's gonna sound awful and it's going to be incriminating. So let me point it out this way. Yes, I was aboard the Ares doing standard check-ins and system reports, as one does with the ship that they care about. However, I was unaware that the Major was aboard.
If I recall, the Defiant can be operated by a crew of 1 if needed.
Yeah.
And it would be very easy for us to find out if any of the crew were on that ship whenever it left.
Yeah, we could probably do so. There's supposed to be 37 members for Gamma Ops. By my count here, you have 28.
Captain, you have 9 crew members unaccounted for, if my calculations are correct.
Not to be entirely blunt, Captain, but no shit.
Wonder where that was going. Neshek, can you track the ion trail of the Ares? See which direction they went in?
Of course. Captain, is there something wrong with the Ares departure? I can attempt to hail them.
I looked to the Admiral to see if it was okay for me to say.
Go for it.
Neshek, the Ares was stolen, and the people who stole it are part of the current investigation. I need to know where they're going. Don't hail them, just let me know where they're going.
Understood, Captain. I'll turn on our sensors and see if I can't get any more details out of flight deck. Does flight deck have a record of, say, like who requested to leave and any additional details like that?
Yeah, flight deck got a request by Gamma Ops. Like, it doesn't have a name particular to it, it's just Gamma Ops.
Oh, it's not like Captain So-and-so requested.
It should be, but given that Gamma Ops is in a particular case being intelligence-based, it has a little bit more leniency to certain things, this being one of them, which is also kind of your current damnation right now.
Goddamn intelligence.
Okay, in that case, I'll just stick with. If there were, I assume there's probably also no given destination. I'll just stick with trying to use sensors to ping the direction they're heading and where they're going.
Okay.
And I'll also notify the other ships in the area that if they see the Ares, please let us know.
Okay. Given the trajectory of this and where it's headed, the Ares is headed back to Sol. The Sol system.
Interesting.
Knowing the capabilities of that ship, it's gonna take the better part of 2-3 months for them to get there. And then...
Yeah, 'cause that's a really long way for them, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can track the ion trail for a while before it just blips off the map, the star map entirely, as if it's just not there. And then Alpha Ops gets a hail.
I will answer Horizon. I mean, assuming while I'm looking at that, I will answer Horizon Station. Alpha Ops.
Alpha Ops. You realize all of you are dreadfully irritating, right?
Oh, look, is this a prank call?
No, it's coming from the registry, and the call seems like it is probably coming from the Ares, but you cannot track this thing.
God dang it.
May I ask with whom I'm speaking?
Oh, I think you're looking for me.
May I ask with whom I'm speaking? There's protocol here. You should have been trained on this. If you are accessing Starfleet hailing systems, there are protocols to be followed. Please, who is speaking?
I thought I was a narcissist. Major Van.
Before the scene continues, does the captain and admiral hear this by any chance? The purpose experience or not?
Once I know it's from, once I saw it's from the Ares, I would have patched you into it.
Yeah, you both know about it, and you actually hear this. Everyone on the Alpha Op station is Admiral Dax kind of smacking her right fist against the kind of glass display of the L cars, and it just leaves like a crack.
Well, Major Ron, what's the purpose of your hail?
Well, I'm aware the Aventine is at Horizon Station, and I'm perfectly aware that I can't outrun the Aventine, and even our stealth capabilities, we'd be found eventually. So, I'm giving you 2 options. You can come after me, and we can have a duel, or whatever you wish to call it. But your victory will be a Pyrrhic one, because the amount of casualties I will sustain at the max is 9, including myself. The max casualties you will sustain is 43,622.
And you hear a thump as the captain slams his fist on his desk.
At that, West being, because I'm guessing this is all on the bridge right now.
Yeah.
West will politely step up to the captain and just say quietly, "Posure, sir."
When you can keep talking, but Neshek going to be trying to do something during whatever speech they have.
So how about it, Admiral? You can be the person who lets one target of interest get away. Or you can go down as the Admiral who let over 43,000 cadets die.
Well, while the Admiral was thinking, the captain would stand up and say, "So, Major, what was your plan behind all this? I'm actually curious, if you don't mind me asking."
Well, I suppose this is where I tell you how we've planned everything. No, I'm not that stupid. I'm not gonna do that.
We'll get a little message that pops up in just like a text message on the screen, so that way this person can see it, that just says "keep her talking."
I mean, I'm sure you have a grand scheme of things. I mean, I could say this. I'm sure you probably already know about the Camel and how that went.
Given everything, it looks like it was pretty successful.
So, what is your end game? I mean, I'm sure someone as smart as you has an end game. I'm actually curious to know what it is.
Part about intelligence operations, Captain?
Besides not telling anybody?
Compartmentalization of information.
I mean, I'm just curious on how you're going to play this out. I mean, we can't stop you.
No.
If we stop you, we have major challenges on our side. So all that we can do is find out what your end game is. Just figure out what was the plan behind all this. Was it a test, or was it maybe politically motivated?
You really think I'm just gonna freely give up information, don't you?
Hey, I already told you we can't do anything. We can't stop you. I mean, should be some sort of given here. We're just curious how this all came about. What was behind what's your motivation for this attack?
Captain, she's not going to give us any information.
If I may. And then West will approach the screen a couple steps. Perhaps not the grand scheme, but a simple question. Why me? To help.
You're a soldier. Soldiers follow orders. Simple as that.
But apparently,
Is there a... I know it's not going to be really good for me, but is there an insight I can do?
Yeah.
What would that be?
This is gonna be... You're effectively
Insight.
trying to get more out of this. So... I think this is gonna... Yeah, this is gonna be an
Insight command?
Insight command, yeah.
Oh.
Difficulty
What's the difficulty?
2.
2?
Mm-hmm.
How much dice do we have?
I would ask that we
momentum?
don't spend any momentum here.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, you're pretty maxed out momentum here.
10 or lower. Here we go. I'm taking a photo. Because I did need a 10 or lower, and I have a 7 and 8.
Nice.
Ooh, that's good.
That's so good. That's some good shit right there.
The literal lowest roll that I could have is a present science, which would give me a success of 8 or lower that I would have to roll.
Well, this is still testing the waters here. But yeah, there's a little bit more leaning into this, and after chewing on it a little bit. Well, I guess soldier isn't entirely fair. Your record, despite certain glaring issues, is rather impressive. And, as such, well, I was interested in at least the concept of recruitment, working slowly over time for that, but... oh, how they disappoint.
Perhaps if you tried a more legitimate approach next time, sir. And then Lance Corporal West will take a couple steps backward to indicate that he is done.
Okay, Neshek, what are you doing?
Okay. Once the Major brought up the casualties, that's when I sent the message to the ready room to say keep her talking. That's where I sent a ping to Apricity because I'm going to need probably all the computing power I can because I need to make sure this works. So I'm asking for Apricity's assistance with what I'm about to do.
Okay.
Which is, if she's communicating with us, that means we currently have a two-way connection back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to basically push the sabotage code into their system and blow up their reactor.
Oh, okay.
I'm basically going to update them with the corrupt code and have it trigger immediately to detonate. But what we were talking before, to fix the problem, I'm going to give them the problem.
And as their ship does not have the problem, it is to be fixed. It is effectively just going to be the problem.
Yes.
Alright, well, you're doing this... This is
I'm hoping with the... Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be... control engineering. And this is also going to be me spending what the hell? Spending the other 5 points of threat.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
This explosion, it didn't kill any of the cadets.
No.
It shouldn't
It'll disable the ship.
Yeah,
Now-
it'll disable the ship, but it won't disable life support or anything like that, right?
No, it won't really disable life support. However, the one thing that this will guarantee is unless they can get to a station, and being at the far reaches of space like this, and
We're
they're
the only
probably
station.
at high warp right now, that's going to happen. They're going to drop out of warp, and they are just going to be dead in the water. And finding a Defiant class vessel in the vast reaches of space in the middle of fucking nowhere could very well be a death sentence.
Apricity will help if Neshek has a way to work around, like a way to
don't think
find
that would
the ship
happen.
afterwards.
I don't have a way to. I don't have a way. I would not have the time to say anything other than you just are going to have to trust me. To be like basically have the confidence in our sensors and the fleet at the station to comb the area. Cannot guarantee that we'll be able to locate the ship.
The Aventine is in station.
It's just a matter of sweeping, though. It's finding a needle in the universal haystack.
And Apricity.
I cannot give it a guarantee to
Yeah.
Apricity. You don't have to assist. I just need to know if you are or not.
Apricity won't stay in the way, but they can't help. I'm sorry. It goes against their morals too much.
Fair. Okay. I'm still using the station's computers to do this, though.
Yes, so someone can roll for station, and then Neshek, this is control engineering.
I have just to list out everything I am before somebody rolls for the station. I have computer expertise, so that's a bonus d20 to tasks that are programming.
Yep.
I have technical expertise, which since I'm using computers, I get to reroll one of these d20s.
Okay.
I was then going to buy up as many d20s as I could off momentum, which I think... How much do we have?
We're full.
Yeah,
and
but
I
what's
did
the
not
total?
use any on, so that's 6.
6, so I can get additional 3 d20s by spending all the momentum, because 1, 2, and then 3. So that is 3 base, plus another 3, that's 6. And yeah, then I reroll one of these afterward. Okay.
So what do you roll for the station? Just a single d20?
Yep, it'd be a single d20. This would be... Because you're trying to locate them, so I think this is going to be communicate...
Well, I have this... I have the signal. I'm using that.
Yeah, I know. But
I'm using... Oh, okay. Well, you go first.
Yeah, I think this would... Like, using the station stat to assist with that, though, I think it's going to be a sensor security here.
And 1 die, so rolling. A 9.
Okay, that is a success.
Okay, that's a success. I am now rolling my 6d20s for control security.
Okay, the major hacked my Discord and kicked me off.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, that is so many complications. I'm going to reroll one of those 19s.
Oh god, please.
Okay, that's an additional success and minus one of those 19s. So with this station, that's a total of 4. None of my focuses apply because my security is only 4. The lowest success I have is a 5.
So you are able to do that because, like I said, it was a difficulty of 3.
Oh,
However, there are 3 complications.
okay.
Which,
Lay them on me. No, it's still 3 because the 18.
Oh.
I spent 5 points, so anything 15 or higher was going to be a complication. The kind of in the midst of whatever she's talking about, suddenly you can hear a rumble in the background, and you can hear the slight jostling as this hollow feed like shakes and statics before she's just probably tossed to the ground as she kind of looks over. What the hell was that? You can hear another voice. So the reactor core is gone. Gone? Well played, Captain. Sitting there. Not really a breach. More like a... More like doing it in such a way where, like, everything just gets fried. So it's not a breach as much as it is just executing that capability entirely. And it's not just warp core breaching, it's impulse engines as well as certain computer systems for various like sensor suite tasks.
And if it's the same as the Campbell, their communications as well, because they couldn't ping anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Which means I think we actually can't talk to them anymore.
They can't. You can hear them though. They kind of, their hair is kind of slightly messed and ajar because of the whole reactor situation. Compartmentalization, Captain. Before they cut the feed and the hollow just dies out.
I think we need to get eyes on all of those ships immediately.
That's a lot of ships out there.
With the Admiral's permission, I can issue orders to all of them. I just simply need to know what those orders are, whether it is to avoid self-quarantine and avoid isolated areas, or something else. Abandoned ship, even?
Abandoned ship would cause...
We need a decision soon, though, Admiral, to prevent any potential sabotage.
I would use your best judgment. I have to get aboard the Aventine, and I will try and do my own communications with more higher levels of Starfleet, if at all possible.
Neshek, how soon can you get that upload to the ships that we were talking about?
I can begin working on it immediately, but I believe we should, if we are going to issue any orders to try to prevent... we are going to issue any orders to prevent deaths from the sabotage, we need to issue them now. Then I can work on correcting it.
Right, okay.
Alright, for the sake of brevity and such like this, Dr. Hale is actually brought up to Alpha Ops. With the security team, of course. Captain, Admiral.
Doctor.
I regret to inform you I haven't been entirely truthful with you.
On what, Doctor?
I think you should probably arrest me now.
I need to know why before I make that order. I mean, the Apple can agree with me on that. We like to know why before that order is even issued.
Espionage.
So are you in fact half Romulan?
Full, but that's another story.
Let me guess. Tal Shiar agent, maybe?
Former.
Or sleeper agent?
Former Tal Shiar.
But you said former.
Exactly. If you're a former, there should be no reason for me to arrest you unless you give me a valid reason.
Are you perhaps one of the few Tal Shiar that objected to Admiral Sela?
Whether I did or not is irrelevant to that. However, as a former Tal Shiar agent, I did install code aboard ships. And you asked about the camera, and I did install code, though I didn't know what it was. I was told it was a computer bug to observe and learn via a agent of Section 31, and I was to upload this code to 319 other vessels.
Which means you are still a scapegoat, though.
I got to ruminate with my thoughts a lot, and I think I am tired of lying to myself.
Perhaps one way to absolve yourself is to work with Commander Neshek to reverse the code.
There's no way to effectively reverse the code in a single sweep. It's just, that's too wide of a net. I'm sorry. Captain Commander Neshek, but at this stage, I can help. I can help with some of that. I can mitigate the damage. I can't stop it all from happening.
Well, mitigating the damage is better than nothing.
I took an oath, Captain. My involvement, past, present, or even future, breaks that oath. So after this, I'll... Well, we'll approach that when we get to it.
Okay. Okay.
We are focusing on damage mitigation. I've drafted some orders to send to the affected ships pending your approval, Admiral. And basically it is a bulletin stating if you are near populated systems, get out. If there is nothing wrong with your reactor, abandon ship and leave. Basically leave the ship in deep space where it can't go. If something has gone wrong, if there are any issues with your reactor at all, remain aboard the ship until further posted.
Okay.
And while the Admiral deals with that, I say, okay. Commander Aleska, after the former Dr. Hale, who's been now relieved of her post and of her post on Horizon Station as second medical officer to Apricity, place her under arrest.
Doctor, if you will come with me.
After she helps Neshek.
Indeed.
I made this code to be, well, it effectively has a dead man switch. So, the moment we remove the code, it should act like a spider web, and whoever is in closest proximity will be hit first and branching outwards. The best that I can do, Commander Apricity, is I can try very, very hard to mitigate the damage, but we are going to lose people.
How many people are we looking at?
Hold on, let me do the math really quick.
But we'll only lose people if they're still on the ship when we turn it off. That's why my orders include get off the ship if, your reactor hasn't already blown up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Worst case scenario, you'll lose 6,500 cadets.
As bad as that is better than losing 43,000.
Yeah, we mitigated some damage.
Alright, saving up time here. The code is uploaded. Neshek sends out the report, and you wait an agonizing, quiet amount of time. I don't think anyone leaves Alpha Ops during this time. For the next 3-4 hours as you wait for reports to see, how much damage actually happened.
No, but after the
Gino.
I'm down in coffee right now to keep myself awake because I ain't going to sleep.
The report comes back. There is a casualty list. However, it is significantly smaller thanks to Dr. Hale and Lieutenant Commander Neshek's efforts The casualty has been reduced from 6,500 to 312.
Wow, that's a lot smaller. A lot. Yeah, they'll just tell people it's going to be on my conscience for a while, but that's not a bad number.
Captain,
And
with all due respect, I don't think it should be.
Oh, that was that was out of character. What I just said.
Yeah.
Out of character, yeah. But go on.
The Dr. Hale kind of just stops and turns to Aleska and kind of puts her hands up.
follow me, Doctor. And I will take her to the brig, but I will not put her in with... She will basically be in a cell by herself, because I'm making very sure that there are no accidents in the brig.
Right. Smart plan.
And I will have 2 security officers watching her cell at all times.
Lance Corporal West will volunteer for those.
And the captain will make a note of that.
Alright. Where one problem ends, there is
Here's
still
one
the
last thing.
lingering problem of your quarantined medical facility. With patients
Oh,
here,
that's right.
but we will deal with that in the conclusion of this arc's story next time.
I have one last thing,
Okay?
and I say this every time, but because I succeeded on a task with controller insight, can I use incisive scrutiny to obtain information?
Sure. What?
It's largely tangentially related, but can I get security footage confirming that the Major took all 9 of the missing crew members aboard the vessel? That there's not somebody left behind on the station?
It'll take time, but given how things are, the ship will eventually be found, so yes.
Okay.
So
I meant...
the report that there was one S-31 operative was incorrect. There were in fact 9.
Okay. And I wanted to look over the security footage on Horizon to make sure I could see all 9 people got on the Ares and not only 8 or some shit. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Alright.
Oh.
Will you ever play anything other than a teller?